if you could ask me 10 years ago for a crazier set of circumstances to exist in the United States than exist now, I would not even come close to being able to tell you how crazy it is now. I wouldn't even be able to conjure it unless I was in some sort of, Orwellian nightmare. And we've heard this constantly referred to as an Orwellian nightmare. And, you should read George Orwell's book, Animal Farm. It's scary. The parallels are scary. Anyway, we're witnessing the attempted installation of communism. It's really quite simple. The radical left has teamed up with the companies that I'm suing, these big tech machines that control the information, who gets elected, what you think, say, and do, how you act, all that stuff. What you think you're dependent upon. And like I've said before, if they deplatform you, who cares? You'll be fine tomorrow. You will not die. But we are now left with this set of circumstances where we have people that compete on behalf of the United States. They're black, and then they get up there. They don't get, first place or whatever it was in the qualifying round. So they get mad and they throw hissy fits and they throw a t-shirt over their face, turn their back on the flag and the anthem, and say that they're upset not because they didn't win, which is really what the case is. They say they're upset because it's a racially and systemically racist country, which it's not, because if it was, you wouldn't be black and competing on behalf of the United States. Okay? You have an inherent athletic ability, right? And you've developed and honed that. And the country that allowed you to develop and hone that into greatness to the point where you could compete on that country's behalf is the United States of America. So when you turn your back on that flag, you're literally being the biggest hypocrite I've ever seen, because you're turning your back on the flag that represents the country that kind of provided you with the ability to do all these things. Again, not detracting from your inherent athleticism. I'm detracting from your moral turpitude, general lack of knowledge of American history, and just character. You're just a lousy human being. And all you really stand for, if you want to know what kind of justice and racial whatever you're fighting for, is the resegregation of America. That's it. End of story. So we have now created a scenario where it's like, these aren't my pants, officer. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, cops, pull up some clips. You'll find that cops pull crack out of people's pockets and they're like, hey, these aren't my pants. That's what's going on in this country. Okay. The radical left and the mainstream media, and again, the Silicon Valley tech tyrants that I'm suing, are the ones that are defunding, or at least saying to defund the police and getting people to support the effort. Not Republicans, but it's not working out so well. Crime's up 800% in certain areas. The murder rate's through the roof. They can't control crime. They can't get cops to go to work, because why would you want to be a cop in those areas? They don't have your back, the people that you work for, and everybody hates you. I don't blame you. There's some noble ones that still do it, but anyway, crime is on the rise. And they can't even chase you in certain areas if you steal someone's purse or punch them in the face or rob them. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, it didn't work out. Crime is it's insane how many people are dying because of this. But they're like, hey, it didn't work out so well. The American people are catching on. So are these oppressed minorities that we're actually oppressing in what we're doing, right? They're actually oppressing the minorities they claim to fight for in their actions and in their policies. Let's understand that. Let's wrap our minds around that. So blame it on the Republicans. So Silicon Valley, as the loyal servants they are to the radical left movement and vice versa, they all serve one another very well. They say, hey, it's the radical left. It's the Republican. Now I sound like Biden. It's the Republicans that are defunding the police. No, it's not. No, the only people that would believe that are the same people that would believe that a systemically racist country produced a 2-term black president, a black vice president, black Olympic athletes, black basketball players that denounced it. It's just crazy. It's just none of it makes sense. It's not true. And it doesn't make sense again because it's not true. So I want you to think about that really hard. Now we are so weakened from within, and we have such a weak leader. This guy can't even say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That comes from the Declaration of Independence. What he said was, We hold these truths to be self-evident that we're created with that we the people thing, man. No. We've talked about this. One's from the Declaration of Independence. He bookended it with the Constitution. Complete moron. The world sees it. And, like, what better time to attack for Iran, North Korea, China, and Russia, our biggest enemies, than now, when we're at our weakest, when we're fighting from within. There is no better or more perfect time. It's obvious. So if you assume for a second, and I hope I'm not right, but if you assume for a second that they also struck a deal along with big tech, radical left said to our enemy countries, like, hey, come on in, we'll let you wipe out the people. We'll get them to fight. We'll get them marginalized, kind of like Hitler did in the 30s, and take over. And we'll have a good deal. We'll run the show. We'll all be on top. If you assume that, this all makes sense. Because now they're spying on American citizens, which is illegal. Tucker Carlson's blowing the lid off of that. We have elections that we can't trust. Okay? When you say that, they say, don't say that or you're gone. You're deported. We're going to punish you. It's against the First Amendment. I can say that, and I'm going to say that. And then if you say, the virus thing, you've got to do things like say the Kung flu if you want to get your message out without being deplatformed, because as much as I want you to leave this platform, I need to be here to tell you about it, because this is where you are if you're watching this. So it's the Wu flu or the Kung flu. Make up names, all right? Because it has to be talked about. But that was the perfect thing to get rid of the perfect guy that was doing great things and exposing all the corruption. They said enough's enough, we got to get rid of him. Things happened. Yeah, who knows? It makes sense and adds up. And now we have China and Russia in tandem doing military exercises 35 miles off the coast of Hawaii. And we have Japanese officials. The Washington Examiner started to reveal this. They said to the United States that we should be on the lookout and ready for a Pearl Harbor style attack, very soon. If that doesn't scare you to death, I don't know what will. It makes perfect sense to attack a country if you don't like them when they are fighting from within, when they're fractured, when they're weak. What they don't know is that Americans are ass kickers. We're not going to take it. The second you try to screw with us, we're all going to win. Watch. Everyone will be friends again, and you will have made a big, big mistake. I can guarantee you that. Because when push comes to shove, black and white, it doesn't matter. All right? It doesn't. You call me racist, all right? You have to prove it. And if you do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you pictures of me doing things like pulling people of different skin color out of cars that are overturned and about to catch fire, risking my own life for people that are not the same color as me. Over and over again. I was actually just in a car accident. I'd say about 1,000 cars passed me and the 3 other cars that were involved in the accident without offering to help. That's how weak this country has become. It's not okay. We have to do something about this. So I'm asking you, love your fellow man, love the time that you have now, talk to your family about what to do if things go sideways, because it's all very plausible that they will. All it takes is one good hack, one good attack, and all hell breaks loose. God willing, I'm wrong, but it makes no sense to not consider it and be prepared for it. And it makes also no sense to think outside of the box and question the authority. The liberals used to be all about questioning authority and asking why. And now all of a sudden, they've been tricked into being the exact opposite of liberal. Liberal means that it's okay to have open debate and a two-party system. Not anymore, they don't. That's not how they're acting anyway. But that's the definition. Go look it up. I'll post the definition from Merriam-Webster in the description section or something. So anyway, you'll always be able to find me, unless they kick me off the internet, which might happen, at realrepublicannews.com. And I am continuing the fight against big tech. The lawsuits are going. Actually, it all just got signed the other day. And watch out, because we're not going to give up. I don't care what the odds are once again. So we're in this for the long haul. And by the way, I'm going to figure out what office to run for. And the only figuring I have to do is where I could be of the most service to you. That's it. Whether you're red, white, black, or brown, I want you to be able to say what you need to say, no matter what your political affiliation is, as long as it's within the confines of the First Amendment. End of story. That's what our founding fathers wrote the First Amendment for. It's the cornerstone of America. It's the essence of liberty. America is not the ground on which you stand or the states. It's quite literally the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Liberty itself. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of all that. The Constitution protects it and upholds it. So until next time, be well, everyone. We've got the 4th of July coming up. It's an important holiday. Let's remember what it's for. Let's celebrate what our founding fathers did for us, all the colonists that shed blood and lost their lives in defense. And you know, I mean, they really had to earn this thing that we have. I'm not giving it up so easily. So, anyway, God bless America. Be well. And we'll do another video for the 4th.